Hey there, welcome to Mission DIY. I'm Maria. Today I'm going to install a drain line pipe in this wall here for a sink, like a bar sink that we're eventually going to install.
This is where the bar sink will be going in our basement. I designed the layout using SketchUp, which really helped visualize the space. The utility closet will be here, and next to it is where the kitchenette and bar area will go.
1.5-inch pipe will fit through here. And then when we get into this closet right here, I'm going to switch to a 2-inch pipe that will go to the main stack back there. I'm also going to be installing a cleanout so that we can access it in this closet if we ever need to clean it out. This is the toilet stack that goes upstairs. And at first we were thinking of connecting this drain to the toilet stack, but since we have a stack that goes to the sink pretty close right over here, we decided that it would be a lot better of an idea to attach it to the sink stack just in case there's ever a backup. We don't want that backing up into our basement sink. Please note I'm not a licensed plumber, so this is for entertainment purposes only. Also, you might note that I'm working in a 2x4 wall. When you are dealing with plumbing, you should probably have a 2x6 wall. There are a few reasons that we decided not to do a 2x6 wall. It's not advised. But one of them is we did not have enough 2x6 wood, so we decided to use 2x4s but bump them out from the wall so that there would still be enough space to run the plumbing.
I first measured and marked the stud at the desired height for the sink drain. To ensure proper drainage, I planned for a minimum slope of 1/4 inch per foot. Since the studs are spaced 16 inches apart, I increased the slope to 1/2 inch every 16 inches to maintain consistent fall between the studs. This is a classic case of do as I say, not as I do. I couldn't find the correct size hole saw, so I ended up using a sawzall to notch the studs instead. This choice led to a few other issues, especially since this wall was framed with 2x4s instead of 2x6s, which I'll get into more in a minute. At this point though, I had a good slope in the pipe, and I checked that I could still maintain this slope for the entire length and at my connection to the main drain stack.
Okay guys, this is a little bit embarrassing, but hopefully you all will give me some grace on this. This is one of the reasons why you would want to put a 2x6 wall in for plumbing, just because I had to cut the holes so close to the edge of the 2x4 that I was worried about the stability of these 2x4s because we're going to be hanging cabinets here eventually. So I did go ahead and add blocking just to make it stronger on the bottom. So this is definitely not ideal, but hopefully this is a good fix for it.
So I moved on to cutting into the drain stack. The stack is 2 inches in diameter, and I decided to run 2-inch pipe up to the cleanout, then transition to 1.5-inch pipe for the remaining run to the sink.
So I'm going to cut this middle section out so that I can fit this on here. And then in order to get it on, I'm going to cut it up here and then put a repair coupling up here. That way I have wiggle room up and down to put this on. And then the repair coupling just slips over. Here it is. So I'll see how the repair coupling doesn't have any lip inside, so you can kind of just slide it around. Well, that's nasty. Ew! Ew! What is that? Okay. Ew. This is going to be gross.
It was time to start putting the drain back together and connect the 2-inch run of pipe. I used PVC purple primer and clear PVC cement, linked to in the description below. This stuff has a super strong smell, but hey, it covered up the gross odor coming from that pipe. I installed the repair coupling, which doesn't have a built-in stop, so you have to be careful with how far the pipes go in. I used Tapcon screws to secure the pipe to the masonry wall. I wanted to keep the routing tight to the wall, so I used two 45-degree elbows to make the turn. I used the same approach on both the 2-inch pipe and the 1.5-inch pipe.
Now I'm going to be adding a coupling here inside the wall to connect a joining piece here.
This coupling is different from a repair coupling I used earlier because it has a small lip in the center on the inside. That lip stops you from pushing the pipe too far in, which helps ensure a proper fit for both of the connecting pipes.
Yeah! Gotta hold it really tight. It wants to slip off.
As I mentioned before, I wanted to route the pipe close to the wall, so I added two 45-degree elbows on this 1.5-inch pipe as well. This may go without saying, but test fit the pipes first and mark where they should line up. That way, when your glue is setting, you can use the marks as an easy reference to make sure you aren't facing the fitting the wrong way or slightly angled.
I installed this 2-inch T, but then later realized I should have installed a sanitary T, which is shaped more like a Y fitting, but it has a curved opening for the cleanout access. You'll see how I change it out here in a minute. The one I installed before is a T fitting, but it really should be a sanitary T so that it's not a 90-degree turn when snaking the line. This here is about a 20-foot long horizontal run of 1.5-inch and 2-inch PVC. We already have a clean out on the vertical stack. Russ and I really wanted to be able to have access to this long run of horizontal drain and be able to clean it out if it ever got clogged. So check with your local codes to see what's right in your area, but in our case, we wanted to have the option. I'm going to be cutting out this other fitting and replacing it with this one. So right here I have a reducer where my 1.5-inch line will go into here, and then on the other side my 2-inch line will go into here. I have this other connection that my cap can screw into. So I'm going to install my clean out this way. The drain stack is over there and my sink is over there. So I want the clean out to be going towards the drain because we can always clean it out from the sink drain over there as well. There is my repair coupling, all of this routing, the sanitary tee, and then I got some 45s there. And here is where it comes out. Got a nice slope going, and I'm just going to plug this with this temporary cap there. I'll tighten it in a few minutes, but that will prevent yucky gases from coming out of here. there you have it. Now it's all ready and prepped. This comes out past the wood here, and it will come into the cabinet under the sink, and it's ready for the sink drain installation.
One thing this project reminded me of is that growth rarely comes from doing everything perfectly the first time. Proverbs 24:16 says, "Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." This project had mistakes, adjustments, and lessons along the way, but that's part of the process. Sometimes God teaches us more through what didn't go as planned than what did. And if sharing those missteps helps someone else avoid them, or feel confident enough to try anyway, then hey, this project served a purpose beyond just my sink drain.
I was kind of intimidated at first to tie into that main stack, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. I really think anyone can do this. Just take your time, make sure that you test as you go. So test your fittings before gluing them for sure, because once that glue dries, there's really no going back unless you cut out those fittings, and you really only have like 10 seconds before it kind of starts drying and you can't move them. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this inspires you to do it yourself, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.